You've done this. New room, new bed, completely wiped out, and you still spent half that night surfacing, waking up for nothing, checking nothing, sinking back down. Then night 2, same room, same bed, and you slept fine. Nothing in that room changed. You did, and before you say it was nerves, or the strange pillow, or the mattress being too firm, that got tested. In a lab. The people in the study said they felt completely normal. No anxiety, no discomfort. They were screened for it beforehand. They still didn't sleep. Because something in your head refuses to go all the way under the first time you sleep somewhere new. It's measurable. It shows up on a machine. And it picks a side. In 2016, a team at Brown University published something in Current Biology that sleep researchers had been quietly working around for decades. Working around it looks like this. If you run a sleep study, you can't use anyone's first night of data. It's garbage. Everybody sleeps badly the first night in a lab, so labs just build in a throwaway night, let people settle, and start recording on night 2. They named it the first night effect, and they treated it as an inconvenience. Sit with that for a second. For 50 years, every sleep lab on Earth hit the same wall on night 1. Thousands of studies. And the fix was always the same. Throw the night away. Don't look at it. Start counting tomorrow. The most reliable result in the whole field, and it lived in the bin. This team did the opposite. They pointed everything they had at it. 35 people, 2 nights each, a week apart, with EEG, MEG, and MRI all running together, which gave them a picture of the sleeping brain sharper than anyone had managed before. And on night 1, it came out lopsided. During the deepest stage of sleep, one specific network on the left side of the brain stayed shallower than the exact same network on the right. Same brain, same night, same moment. One side dropped all the way down, one side hung back. On night 2, that gap was gone. Now, I'll be straight with you about what this is and isn't, because it gets exaggerated. You are not a dolphin. Dolphins genuinely sleep one half of the brain at a time, fully, and you can't do that. What you've got is smaller and honestly weirder. One network, running a little hotter on one side for one night only. But pay attention to where it showed up. Not while you're drifting off, not in the light stuff near morning. It showed up in the deepest stage there is. That stage is the bottom of your night, the hardest point to wake you from. Shout your name in slow wave sleep, and you might not surface for 30 seconds, and when you do, you won't know what year it is. It's the closest thing to being switched off that a person does on purpose every single night, for free. That's the exact moment one side of your brain refused to follow you down. Whatever this thing is, it didn't turn on when you felt uneasy. It turned on at the precise minute you stopped being able to defend yourself. And smaller doesn't mean harmless, because then they tested what that shallow side was actually doing up there. They played sounds at people while they slept. Not loud ones, irregular beeps, the kind of thing you'd never consciously clock. And the useful part is that your ears cross over. Sound going into your right ear gets handled mostly by your left hemisphere. Left ear, right hemisphere, so they aimed. Beeps into the right ear, feeding the side that stayed shallow, and people woke up. More of them woke, and they woke faster. Same beeps, same volume, into the left ear, feeding the side that was properly under, and they slept straight through it. Go back over that. Same person, same night, same sound. One ear got them up, and the other ear didn't. On night 2, the difference vanished. Both ears, same response. So that shallow side wasn't damage. It wasn't the sleep failing, it was listening. Which leaves the question nobody has a clean answer for. Between night 1 and night 2, what actually changed? You didn't inspect the room. You didn't lock anything you hadn't already locked. You didn't collect any evidence. You slept there once. Nothing ate you. And some part of your nervous system filed that away as a result. One night of not dying is apparently enough. Think about what that means it's doing. It's holding a file on every place you've ever slept. Not a memory you can pull up on demand. a rating. Somewhere between fine and not yet. Updated in the dark without asking you. You have never once caught it happening. You've only ever noticed the tiredness the next morning. And the researcher still can't tell you whether that left side keeps watch all the way through or hands off to the right at some point and takes its turn resting. That's genuinely open, which makes it worse, not better. Because if it hands off, then somewhere in your skull, there's a rotation. We know exactly what that looks like in an animal because someone lined up ducks and watched. 1999, published in Nature. 4 mallard ducks in a row with EEG on all of them. The ducks in the middle slept like ducks, both eyes shut, whole brain down. The ducks on the ends, the exposed ones with open space beside them, slept with one eye open, and they did it 150% more than the ducks in the middle. It wasn't a random eye either. It was the eye facing away from the group. The eye pointed at the gap. Then the researchers shuffled them around, and the ducks stood up, turned themselves, and switched which half of the brain was sleeping, so the open eye stayed pointed outward. They weren't asleep and unlucky. They were on duty. And when the team showed them a predator coming in, the half-asleep ones raised the alarm. A human being asleep is a badly designed animal. We're bad at it in a way that should have killed us. An ape sleeping in a tree has basically solved the problem. You wedge into a fork 40 feet up, and anything that wants you has to climb. And climbing makes noise. Chimps still build a fresh nest up there every single night of their lives. Then our ancestors got bigger and heavier, and the branches stopped holding. Somewhere around 2 million years ago, we came down and started sleeping on the ground. Flat, in the open, at the same height as everything with teeth. I'll be straight with you. The exact timing on that is more educated guess than hard fact. But the problem it created isn't a guess at all. Sleep is the one part of your day you can't opt out of. And it's the only stretch where you're unconscious, outdoors, for hours. Something had to cover those hours. Every animal we've looked at found an answer. The dolphins split the brain, the ducks split the brain, and aimed the open eye at the gap. We didn't split the brain, we split the group. In 2017, a team published a study on the Hadza in northern Tanzania. Hunter-gatherers sleeping outside in a group. Roughly the way people slept for most of the time there have been people. Everyone wore a motion tracker. 20 days of data. The researchers went looking for the moments when the entire group was asleep at once. Across 20 days, they found 18 minutes. 18 total. Not per night, for the whole study. At any point in the night, a median of 8 people were up. Somebody was awake or drifting in light sleep for 99.8% of the dark. The camp never went down. And this is the part that turns the whole thing over. Nobody organized that. There was no rota, no watch list. Nobody sat down and worked out who takes midnight and who takes 3. The researchers went looking for the mechanism and found something stranger than a system. People just fall asleep and wake up at different times. Some run early, some run late, and that spread is enough on its own. Stack a group of people with different internal clocks, and the coverage builds itself. Nobody has to volunteer. Nobody has to stay up for anyone. Being a group that doesn't all sleep at the same time is, by itself, a guard. And the thing that pulls those clocks apart is age. You know an old person who doesn't sleep right. In bed early, up at 4. Nodding off in the afternoon, then lying there half the night. And everyone treats it as one of the small, sad facts of getting old. Something wearing out. A thing to be managed, medicated, apologized for, and they do apologize for it. That's the part that gets me. Sorry for being up so early. Sorry for the kitchen light at 4:30 in the morning. Sorry for waking you. The researchers who ran the Hadza numbers looked at exactly that pattern and read it the other way round. Older people drift early, younger people drift late. And that spread is what covers the hours nobody else is covering. They even gave it a name. The poorly sleeping grandparent. Your grandmother waking at 4 in the morning isn't a body coming apart. It's the last hour of a shift. For most of human history, the person who couldn't sleep was the reason everybody else could. Which brings it back to your hotel room. Researchers compared how much people wake up in the night across different groups. The Hadza, sleeping in the open, average around 2.5 hours of being awake in the middle of the night. Americans, in insulated houses behind locked doors, average about 40 minutes. 40 minutes of waking up in a sealed room. On a floor you needed a key card to reach, not 0. And then they looked inside the American numbers and found the dial is still live. People who felt their neighborhood was dangerous woke more in the night than people who didn't. Same country, same century, same locks on the same doors. The thing that moved the number wasn't the crime rate. It was whether you believed something could come. So this isn't a fossil you're carrying around. It's not a leftover that stopped working and got left in. It's running tonight, reading whatever room you're in, taking your word for it about whether that room is safe. Which means it never stopped asking you the question. You just stopped noticing that you answer it every night, because nothing in you has been told. The doors got better, the walls went up, the things with teeth went away, and the system that reads a new room and holds one side back never got the message. It still runs the first night, it still listens on one side, it still lifts you at 3 in the morning to check a hallway that is carpeted and empty and has never once had anything in it. You're not sleeping badly? You're standing watch, and there's nobody left to relieve you.